just now moving in. So what are going to be the civilizations on the map Cross? Well, Mayans, that was a pretty correct pick, and then it's Huns versus Mongols.
Interesting. So Hans sounds like Castle Age aggression, maybe even
Exactly.
feudal. And Mongols could be very different. Could be full feudal scouts or could be imperial Mangudai.
I was exactly thinking about this, that I'm slightly more liking the Huns for the earlier aggression and then for the Mongols, because the Mongols, of course, take quite a lot of time to set up. And since Mayans are, well, I would be guessing that actually Exit and Roboboro will be going for faster castle or other faster castle with fast castle drop and for Plume Touches trade-in. That would be something that I would expect from them. And that might be quite hardly countered by Influenzinho's Huns. So I'm not exactly sure if actually the Mongols will have the time to set up properly in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a closer look at the maps if there's anything bad. Slightly forward gold for Yannick, no gold in the back. What else? Forward more or less for exit 2. Good gold, I should say, for a Robo, and for Influenza, back gold. So that is nice.
Yeah, not really bad so far. And so far I don't see any kind of stealing, which is slightly surprising to me because usually CZs do like to do that, especially Yannick. I remember him doing it quite often on Arabia, but they don't really seem to be aiming for it so far. And the boar for Yannick, that's actually very far away, the one on the left. That's in threat of
Right.
actually being stolen. The one on the
What
right should be
was
pretty much fine.
Influenza?
And oh yeah,
Influenza found 3 gold spots there, yeah.
and Influencia just missed the boar. Literally just missed it. It was just moving away from him, unfortunately for him, so that's basically a bit of luck right now for Yannick, but switching into him, is he actually going to find the boar himself? He actually knows about it, so he was literally lucky that it wasn't stolen by his opponent. That would be pretty terrible for him.
Yeah, a
Pretty
boar
terrible.
steal in 2v2 hurts a lot.
And it makes a whole lot of difference, especially since he would be the Mongol, so Mongols need all the extra hand that they can actually get to get proper start in there with all the bonuses and such. But otherwise, looking at the waters, they are exactly as you're expecting, not any kind of disadvantage in either of the corners. A lot of them pretty much full in here, so the one behind Influenzia should be pretty much fine for them without any kind of fighting, but maybe there could be a bit of fight between Robo and Exit. For the one at the bottom, for the one at the top, I don't expect it all that much, because Influenzio is very far away from it, whereas Yannick is
Yes.
already docking it. So it probably won't be all that much of a fighting.
I agree. If CZ play this smart, then they could control 3 lakes, which is a lot of food to
At the
collect.
bottom, Roboboro trying to build the rock. Unfortunately, caught off, caught off guard by a wolf. Luckily, he does have loom, so he is going to survive. But it's looking like that actually the Jedi Masters are going to be building dock at only the one at the left, hoping that they actually won't be having to fight for it. Whereas Exit has built on the top, and Yannick basically as well. So this should be a pretty good advantage for them. And there is actually a boar being stolen, and that's I think that's... Oh, it's actually Influenzinho's boar. Because the Yannick is already having 2 carcasses behind his TC, rather below his TC. And oh well, it's in the end the other way around. And Yannick did deliver, exactly as I expected, that CZs are good at stealing. And they are finishing as Influenzia is giving up, and oh well, that's going to be a pretty big advantage for them. So well played, well played. And they should help him quite nicely as a Mongol.
Sorry, I was just answering a question on the chat, like what would be the best civilizations? And I said, well, the civs with eco bonuses, Mayans, Huns, Aztecs, Chinese for the team bonus, Mongols for the hunt bonus, and Mangudai. So, yeah.
Already some walling coming up from Roboboro, so he's expecting a bit of a passive game. Or rather, he's expecting that his opponents are going to be quite aggressive, influencing also walling in. So they are fully expecting full-on raiding from CZs. Well, not really any kind of wonder, because looking at the score of CZs, they are quite above them. And is it because of the economy? Not really. Influencing is here again having the highest amount of villages. Not really sure how he manages it game after game.
The team score is really only just 40 points apart, so I wouldn't say it is big, but then again, Yannick is up, which lowers the score, right? It takes away resources from you. So in reality, yeah, CZ are ahead.
And I'm thinking that they should be having slightly better like mid-economy, because the fact that actually Robo with Influenzino are going to be sharing all the resources in the middle should be some kind of downtime in economy at about, I don't know, 30 minutes I would be expecting when the fishies are going to be basically out for all of them. And that might be the moment where CZs might be taking the advantage because they're basically having double of the fishies as they are both on their own ponds. The bottom pond is probably not going to be contested by the Jedi, I would be expecting. And, well, I'm not exactly sure what the gameplay could be right now for the Jedi Masters. They're expecting a passive game, but at the same time, they're not really doing all that much for the fishies in there. That would be helping them exactly in that.
I think they're playing it only semi-passive or defensive because Huns are actually strongest in Castle Age. I don't think Jedi want to force this game to go into Imperial. They will be very aggressive in Castle Age, I think.
So far, looking at the pretty big amount of villages on the woodline in here, it's also kind of thinking that maybe influencing, or rather, the players overall might be going for basically water builds. And I'm not all that sure that they can actually smoothly transition into some kind of reasonable Castle Age aggression or early Feudal Age aggression, so I'm really curious to see what's going to happen once the players advance into Feudals in here.
Yeah, not easy to tell yet. Yannick hits Feudal Age right now, exit in a minute. Stable coming up from Yannick, so yeah, as expected earlier, scouts from Mongols.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty much standard from him, as he's already going with the scout to actually scout what is in there, but unfortunately he's going to discover that everything is nicely, tightly walled. I don't really see any kind of wall or other hole in there, even though every wall has a hole.
Influenza just closed the last gap with the villager, and he's adding a second line of palisades now.
Yeah, and right now Robo has also finished at the bottom, so they seem to be completely impregnable right about now. Should be having walls all around. So I'm kind of thinking that Yannick should be seeing this soon enough, because if he sees this, I'm thinking that he should basically stop with making the scout cavalry, as there's not much of a point actually doing it, because I'm thinking that Influenzino will be on top of it with the villager repairing and such, and something like 4 or 5 scouts shouldn't be getting through the palisades once they are being repaired.
Yeah, the best thing against scouts is really walls. It's the cheapest, the most effective way to counter them.
Yeah, the attack is simply not that great, so they could be taking it down with any kind of significant accuracy or strength. And oh well, Yannick going with extra villages into the top, into the front, so let's see.
He will build a tower and break through the wall, and Influenza's only there with one villager. Townsend is kind of close. He could send more villagers now, and he should do it. He sees the tower. He should see it. Let me check.
So far he's...
Yes.
Ah yeah, right now he is sending extras in. But unfortunately, this is a very nice play right now by Yannick. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to check with line of sight. He actually doesn't know where the home base of Influenzio is. But this is a very lucky build by him, or rather,
this is
very
gonna
lucky
be
build.
so close. Ah, come on.
Because
the scouts are prevented, and the tower is up.
Right next to the town center, which is basically going to be a stop to anything that Influenzino is doing, because you would have to garrison all the villages, killing his economy. So right now the barracks is going to be crucial for him, and the extra few spearmen or pikemen that he's gonna get out of it. And well, the tower is of course going to help to prevent the stone from being mined. Is there someone extra at the back? Yeah, there is, so not really all that much of a problem for Influenzino. But let's see. Let's see if he can be effective. Right now, losing a villager. Definitely not intended. As at the bottom, we are seeing a similar stuff happening right now with archers and tower being dropped by exit as well. So they are going for basically the same strategy. And well, Robo was having just one villager, hoping that he can finish, but unfortunately not, as the archers with skirmishers are coming down, and watchtower from him as a defense should be enough against archers. Let's be clear about that, but
I'm not really happy right now. Influenza actually had the time to wall between the forest and the stone, and then maybe more to the other forest, and now the scouts are in his base.
And he has already lost 4 villages. I see 4 skeletons in there. It's a pretty big number at this stage. But he was having a pretty strong economy, looking that he's right now just being dropped to basically the same amount as the opponents are having. And it's looking like that the extra villagers that are right now targeting the pikemen, the spearmen, he should be pretty much fine, but still, at the bottom, things are not going all that great for exit. Because he's having just archers and the towers are in pretty nice positions, but he should be building a whole lot extra of them. Because I'm thinking right next to the stone, once the castle age is in for exit, he should be in range with crossbowmen of that. That's going to be that dangerous. But at the same time, castle age is for both Influenzino and Robo, so they might be still able to make something happen in there.
Influenza really fighting with villagers there just to push Yannick and his scouts out of his base there.
Yeah,
another tower coming
joining in. With the archers, that's going to be it.
And the spearmen will be so dead.
Yeah.
Tower
but especially, at least the tower is right now finished. But shouldn't really stand for much longer, I'm thinking, if he plays this correctly. But he doesn't really need to fight under it. He just needs to go somewhere else, like the tree line in here. Or maybe just straight into Roboboro from the back, because he isn't walled from his ally, of course.
Oh, Flu needs to wall so quickly now.
Oh well, on the gold, on there, oh my. That's going to be a disaster. But he needs to know about it first. So far, it seems like that he actually doesn't. Yeah, he has absolutely no idea exit where the gold is, so that's a bit of a problem for him. He will still need to discover it. So right now they are concentrating on Influenzino, and oh well, that might not be the best idea right now. They could definitely be doing a better job on Robo, I'm thinking. But still, they cannot know that. So they are doing everything that they can and will be disrupting at least the wood line for the time being. Exit clicking into castle age finally. Still going to be like 2 minutes before he is in.
What to do with the resources now? Influencer could afford a second stable. He could afford a bow saw. What to do now? That's the big question.
That's definitely a pretty big question right now. He needs to spend a lot of resources on the extra lumber camps and the mining camps in there. He's already going for knights, of course, as he has the stable at the top. So he has 2 stables, whereas Yannick is building a tower. Oh, well, that's not really going to be all that effective, unfortunately, for him.
Never mind. Influencer does have 2 stables, so this is very good for him.
He's very well off right now, Roboboro finishing with the castle. And it's almost looking like that actually the game is going to trickle through CZ's fingers, because even though they are having the advantage now, they cannot fight against knights, and they most certainly cannot fight against blue archers. So the later advances, well.
What CZ need to do now is wall up, and Yannick is building stone walls in the front. Let's take a look at exit.
Exit is already basically finished.
Well. Yeah.
It's going to be continuing to the top to basically close the walls with Yannick, and well, I'm really right now thinking that actually the early aggression, even though it was well thought through, it's going to backfire, because the Jedi basically were prepared for it. They were expecting exactly that, and right now Exit is gonna lose everything in there. There's absolutely no way he's gonna run away from there.
And Influenza, well, again, he can decide what to do now. Pump out knights, maybe get a forward siege workshop, or boom up his economy, because both his opponents are still in feudal age.
Yeah, but Yannick has actually built the dock in the back corner, as he had some villagers in there right next to the tower. So he's probably going to be attempting to kill something with at least a few galleys, which is definitely not a bad idea. If he can spare the resources for that, which he, I think right about now can.
Yeah,
he's probably waiting for the knights.
This is such a genius dock. He will probably just get a fire ship and kill the fishing for Influenza.
He's right now going just for economy, just his own fishing boats. So he's going to be just stealing the fishies in there. But still, should be pretty nice bonus to already the economy that he's having at the back in there, as he's scouting right next to the water, with the scouts probably trying to see if Influenza is trying to kill his fishing boats in there. But we also see that the Jedi are advancing into the offensive. Both Robo and Influenza are going for a bit of raiding.
Did you see that Yannick is still open? He hasn't walled in
Yeah,
the
he is open
east.
very much.
Oh boy, oh boy.
They unfortunately haven't finished with the walls altogether in there, which is pretty terrible for them.
And he deleted... this was so close. Influenza almost got in there.
Yeah, unfortunately Yannick actually doesn't know, because he hasn't scouted at the bottom. He probably knows there's something to be, I don't know, interested in, but he hasn't really finished with it. So I'm thinking he basically left it up to Exit. But Exit doesn't know about it either. So that's a pretty bad team communication. They don't know. There is a pretty big hole that actually the opponents can get through, and that's not good news at all.
Yeah. I just saw tons of walls on the minimap and thought, yeah, they're walled, but no, they're not walled at all.
They're not walled at all, as on the left Influenza is trying to get rid of the tower and the rock as well. So Yannick has to actually hurry up with the fishing boats in there and anything, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to do that, as fire ships from Influenza are going to move up. And that was a nice idea from Yannick, but unfortunately wasn't really executed properly all that much.
And now take a look at Exit's base. See how plumed archers actually destroy Feudal Age army. Robo microed it a bit weird there, so now he's running back. But he could have taken the fight with 5+2.
Yeah, he definitely could have, but so far doesn't really seem to be interested all that much. And curiously enough, Exit doesn't even have resources for, I don't know what he's right now going to be building. He's going for mangonels. That's one thing. That's definitely going to help against plumed archers. But otherwise, he's not going even for crossbowmen.
Yeah.
And not even a castle, so I'm not exactly sure what his plan is right now. As at the top, of course, the situation is gonna get quite curious for Yannick, who is unfortunately going for a bit of raiding with knights, so he's gonna have to retreat his steps, because this is not the situation that he should be really running away from his home base.
Yeah. I think Exit will just try to defend, because Mongols again are so much weaker in Castle Age than Huns. Jedi want to win this game in Castle Age, but now there's a castle coming up for Exit in front of his main gold.
Yeah, right now I'm thinking that actually Exit should be moving exactly forward into the other hill, because he basically needs to deny any kind of extra advantage to his opponents, and if he can stay somewhere in there and with the Mangonel get some good shot in and in coordination with Yannick to somehow protect the Mangonel, that could be a pretty good spot. But right now, oh well, he just ran down the hill and oh well, that's going to be horrible. Let's see the Mangonel if it can get some good shot in.
Oh,
he's gonna be killed by the good shot at least, but he's gonna be killed by the knights, of course.
But
good
this
extra
is why
shot, can he get it?
Are so strong. They can survive a mangonel shot always. Come on.
Yeah, that was a bad shot. But right now, pretty decent number of knights from Yannick, but at the same time, he will be fighting a bit uphill, as those guys are on the hill quite nicely camped. So I'm thinking right now that he's basically waiting for Yannick to get enough knights to engage this army, but at the same time, it also means that Roboboro will be growing in numbers on the plumed archers, and yeah, those guys, once they get critical mass, they can kill even the knights, especially if they can find some good choke points somewhere.
And I think Influenza pulled a little bit of a trick there. He was running around with knights, scaring the opponents, but he didn't get too many upgrades. He just got bloodlines now. He didn't get the +2, which Yannick had for ages already. So he tricked his opponents to get more military upgrades. That is smart.
Some plumed archer raiding right now in Red's base, killing at least one villager so far, but he's probably gonna kill a few more, especially on the stone, because the villages are quite far away from everything.
Good raiding.
That's not half bad, but otherwise in the front, still nobody finishing the wall in. Still can't understand it really, why that is really happening in there. And otherwise, well, oh well, yet another castle drop right now attempted by Influenzio right next to Yannick, but I don't think that's such a great idea, because Yannick is fighting right next to his military building, so he should be having the advantage.
He won't. So the castle will most likely go up. Still 4 villagers alive.
Well, he's gonna lose a lot of release in there though.
3,000. Oh god. Oh god. But Yannick is not building with all vills. He was blocking the tower with the monk. And
now giving up on it.
Yeah.
Trying to get through the palisade. Oh well, this is tricky, but it's coming up. Especially right now, since Influenzio is going to repair the wall. So that's a pretty huge problem.
Oh, come on!
Ah, trying to convert the villager. Ow, ow! And it's up. Well, that was damn close. He actually almost made it.
Yes. It was a close one.
That was really last second. Well, that's tough. That's tough, especially since he doesn't really have any siege yet. Right now he's just finishing with them, and that will also give some extra time for Influenzio to send in reinforcements. But with nicely positioned priests right now, he could probably convert most of the knights that will be coming in from Influenzio, if he plays this correctly.
There's just one monk, and Influencer can, you know, run back and forth.
Finally siege coming in, and I'm thinking this should be coming in the end in Yannick's favor, but it's not really ideal, and Bloomtouch is coming in.
Okay.
So what's actually up with exit? Ah, he's there in as well. Okay, so that's fine. It should be pretty much fine for CZ.
This was a bit too bold from Influencer, I think.
And Darkans to get rid of buildings. All right, that's an idea right there.
If Exit manages to get a trebuchet there, oh no, even better. Exit is actually going to push Robo now, building a forward castle. He has a workshop ready.
Seems to be the situation is kind of stabilizing as Yannick is getting another town center up right next to the castle, which is exactly what he needs to do. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to take a bit of time. So there's gonna be a bit of raiding, and oh well, is Robo going to finish with it? Yes, he is. So goodbye, a few villies in there. That's pretty nice raiding. With Robo advancing into Imperial Age as the very first of all of them. Or rather, very first. Exit is actually in Imperial Age as well for quite some time. I haven't really noticed that, so sorry about that. And he seems to be aiming forward exactly as you are mentioning right about now, with the castle quite nicely dropped right next to the stone, which is exactly going to be needed for him quite a lot. Finishing the tower that was started like 20 minutes ago. But pretty nice walling right now by the houses in there. But at the same time, it could backfire for Robo, because if he loses all those houses, it's not a few resources, and it takes some time to build all those houses, so really should be careful about it.
Robo. His economy looks alright. Take a look at the villagers, 84. So yeah, he can build houses all day long.
Economy is pretty much fine. Seems to be slightly better for CZ, as right now the castle has been taken down for Influenzia, but that was a pretty nice attempt, and it almost worked for them. With the castle right now being built by Yannick, and I'm not exactly sure if I agree with the position. I would have maybe built it literally between the golds, not just basically protecting the one gold, but it probably won't matter all that much, because I would be thinking that next castle is gonna be coming somewhere where his army right now is, right next to the gold in there, in front of Influenzio's base. Green villager coming from where? Where was he actually hiding? Not exactly sure. He was probably finishing with the walling at the top. But yeah, this gold is not yours.
And Exit is not wasting time going for the town center now.
Already through with a pretty nice army, but still he's going to be fighting uphill. That's a pretty big hill actually right now for Roboboro. So that's a nice advantage for him, but with the extra siege in there, they are going to be tanking the damage quite nicely. So not even with the trebuchet, should be having easy time of that, finish the second castle.
He even ignored the town center. He's going straight for trebuchet and castle, but I think it's... he won't do much there, fighting uphill as you said.
He's probably also thinking that, and I kinda agree with that, that he's sending the siege in there up the hill, so they actually tanked most of the damage from the Pluntachas, and it basically allows him to do whatever he wants with the archers of his, because Robo is right now not really being able to micro properly, even though the siege are coming down. So not a bad choice, but he has to be a whole lot careful exit, because right now he's gonna be assaulted from the top by the trebuchet, and also Influenzio is going to the bottom, with at least a small army in there to help against the siege, I would be guessing.
Cavalier upgrade coming in for Influencer. Plate barding armor, that's the +4 defense upgrade.
There's going to be a bit of a window of opportunity for them, because Imperial is just now coming for Yannick, so that means like 2 extra minutes, and before he's upgraded into Elite Mangurais and Sarge, it's going to be another 2-3 minutes. So there's going to be a pretty good opportunity for the Cavaliers of Influenzio to make some kind of significant impact on the game in there.
And if you ask me, Jedi, they can actually switch flanks. If Influencer sends in Cavaliers to exit, and Robo sends in Plumes into the Mangudai, that would be a good decision. The question is, do they have time? Because they're under pressure.
Well, right now the Jedi have pretty good situation, because basically Yannick has absolutely no army, he has lost everything, whereas Influenzio is having like about 15-20 Cavaliers. Together with all those plume touches, there's absolutely nothing that actually Exit can do against this, and you should be damn careful so that he isn't surprised in some kind of situation in here, which I think it is definitely aiming for that. So he should be retreating under the castles to at least have some kind of protection, because so far this army is absolutely nothing that he can do, that he can deal with. He at least has some kind of choke point out of the walls in there, so that's of course a bit of a problem for all the guys in there, which begs the question why Robobor is actually not deleting the palisades in there to help him.
Yeah, the palisades are annoying, and he needs more siege. He just lost the trebuchet. There's 1 siege ram, which can go down to villagers. He needs more siege.
So it seems to be slightly okay at the bottom.
And during all this time, Yannick can just boom, and this is what
exactly
you want
what's
with
happening,
Mongols.
because he's dropping the castles all around the map, already going for the Mangudais, getting Bracer, Elite Mangudais, Ballistics, and Parthian Tactics, of course, so he's going to be quite ready. I think exactly at the time when Exit is going to be in a bit of a problem. So it's going to basically make up for that kind of deficit, especially with the reinforcements by Yannick coming in, to at least get rid of the siege. So they should be pretty much fine, still CZs.
Score difference is 800, which is quite something. So good advantage for CZ at the moment. Paladin upgrade coming up.
Looking at the plumed archers, they seem to be having 5+4. Okay, so Exit actually isn't fully upgraded. He's having just +2 armor, whereas Robo is having +4. So that's definitely something that he should do sooner rather than later, as it makes a whole lot of difference in the fights in there.
Yeah, and I don't see it coming up. Maybe he forgot.
Yeah, maybe he forgot. Also interesting that actually Robo is trying to take the water at the bottom for himself. Apparently being allowed, and there seems to be some kind of side build happening from Robo.
He might transition into Eagles. Why else would he be building a barracks there?
And he can probably send a few petards in there. There is a way through between the forest line and the water, so potentially some kind of idea could be happening in there. But at the same time, the palisades in the front are finally over. Paladins are in as well for Influenzia. Not fully upgraded. He doesn't have the attack blast furnace right now coming in. But where is Blue? At the top, right now recognizing he should be coming to the bottom as well, but at the top he's having problems himself, as castle is down, with some trebuchets and at least a few paladins in here. But I'm thinking he's probably going to lure all the army from Influenzio there pretty soon, so it should be more or less an equal fight in the moment. But so far it isn't. A lot of siege rams coming up.
Oh wow, this is actually a very good push from Jedi in the south.
This is very strong, because there's absolutely no defense right now, as basically Blue is being kept in his base by like 4 or 5 paladins, whereas all the armies at the bottom, with Exit losing first castle, gonna lose the second as well without any kind of doubt. I don't really expect that CZ should be doing anything against that. He's rebuilding the castle at the back already. So yep, not really going all that well, as he maybe could have guessed for CZ.
Right now, Yannick has 24, 25 now, Mangudai Elite, and they look fully upgraded.
Yeah, they
if he
seem
gets
to be
40, 50, then Yeah, if he gets more than that, it could get tricky. Mangudai are so strong.
I'm just thinking that I'm not exactly sure if actually the paladins are not going to be the deciding factor, because if you have a look at this, the CZs are basically having just archers, so anything tanky in front of those plumed archers from Robok could be doing a whole lot of good job for them, and even with the extra added siege rams in there, this is heading into a pretty bad battle for CZs. They are not really going to be winning.
And Robo is building a third, barracks right now, queuing Eagle Warriors. So he wants to raid the economy there from the side. And oh no,
Oh,
Exit
Yannick just now,
deleted.
oh, Exit just now doing the work for him. Oh my god. Exit point of view. He sees
Influenza's
it.
holding in the north.
And right now going to be trying to wall him in. But is he going to be fast enough? No,
Oh,
he's
is
not.
there a hole? I think there is a hole in the very north for Influenza.
Oh my god. This is going to be horrible. He's gonna lose a lot of release, and he loses on top of that also gold. And does he have some extra gold mine? Oh my, he probably doesn't. He has just the one in the middle. The two mines, gold mines in the middle, and if they lose the position in there, they're basically out of the gold, because they are not trading yet. I'm kind of thinking they should be already starting with it, because the gold is running out.
These three gold mines in the west for Robo and Influenza could have a big impact.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of gold left for them still. Quite a lot of gold left for them. And how's it looking at the bottom? Not really all that great so far for Robo. He could definitely use some kind of siege in there, as the Eagle Warriors are probably not going to be enough, as he's also housed right about now, unfortunately for him. And, well, Exit having a lot of idols on the farms in there, and probably not having all that much of an idea what to do.
Where's Robo going? He's abandoning a castle and now he's coming back.
Another castle attempted by Robo. Let's see if that's going to be stopped.
Is pushing with cavalry, but you see Mangudai, if they're positioned well, and Yannick knows how to do that. Ah, but they're surrounded now.
And not really a good spot in here. You should be, I think, depositing at least a few villagers into the town centers as well to help with extra fire, and especially looking... Oh, at least the siege are gonna get killed by the Mangudais below the TC. But that's at least something going for them. And, well, Paladin's dead. Influenza, you're not happy.
He thought he could win this fight, but no, if they're stacked up, the Mangudai, then they shred Paladins. It's crazy.
Well, right now he's probably going to lose the gold in there. But looking how he's also sticking, or rather switching into Hussars, is basically telling us that he is having problems with the gold.
Yes, we're minute 50. Ideally you start trade minute 40, 45 on an open map.
And Siege Workshop being dropped by Robo at the bottom for the red player to get rid of. Okay. But red seems to be doing a pretty good job right now, defending against that with all the gates and walls and such, so he should be pretty much fine. Also sending at least a few plumed archers in there, so...
Yannick could get in a sandwich position right now. If Robo hits the Mangudai and Influenza sends in the cavalry from the north, also skirmishers, good call against, you know, full archers from the opponents.
And stables coming in, basically as a counter, I'm thinking, into light cavalry, Hussars for actually to help against exactly those skirmishes in there.
As a meat shield for blue, yeah.
Light cavalry already in. With Caravan also being researched, so trade is gonna start.
Influenza should send in his cavalry, and Robo is flaring. Is he going? Is he going?
Oh, no. Well. Right now it seems like that CZs are gonna come in back into the fight. As at least a few siege are coming in, going to be tanking quite a lot of damage from those plumed archers, which is definitely going to help. And CZs are in pretty great position, because they are hard dividing the armies of their opponents. And that's exactly what they want to do. They don't want them to be at one place.
Robo should wall off that castle. If these siege rams get too close and he loses the hill, then that's it.
Exit right now, I'm not exactly sure why he isn't sending all those siege rams into the castle. Why he's just trying to fight it with the plumed archers in there. And also why Yannick is below the hill. He's actually having the Mangudais below the hill, I think. He could be getting some extra damage in there, especially against those skirmishers. And well, right now, Light cavalry is going to be the thing to actually save them somehow, if it can. Because it needs to get rid of all the skirmishes in there, most definitely.
Question from the chat. So who starts the trade first wins? You know, due to the map design with the lakes in the corners, it's not easy to trade. You won't get 120, 130 gold per you know, route. Trade is very inefficient on this map.
I'm thinking they could actually be a pretty good trade route for CZs. If you have a look
CZ,
from the red dock, from the red corner, if it went all the way up to basically to the blue water, where
north,
where Yannick is gathering the wood, they could potentially protect it. It could be protectable for them, so it could be something for them to use. But right now, Influenzio is actually raiding into the economy with the Hussars. Yeah, as Yannick is not really paying enough attention in there. So that's not really good at all.
At the score difference, it's 1,800, but we're reaching the point where scores are actually, or they can get misleading.
Yeah, exactly, and there's a bit of a problem for Influenzio because he has cut through the wood line at the bottom behind, or rather under the walls. So we can potentially basically allow Yannick to get, I don't know, sneak some 10 Mangu dice into the economy and be a pretty big nuisance in there. As CZs are starting the trade finally. There's definitely a lot of extra villages that could get killed by archers or anything like that. And at the bottom, there's not really anything else happening at the, right next to the extra base.
Only
was having the idea.
16, 17 army from Influenza right now.
That's pretty low. He's right now at pretty low population. Otherwise, how is looking for the others? Not really all that well. Yannick is well off.
The hill.
Something actually for exit, as I was right now going through him, to notice is he actually missing 3 houses. I'm not exactly sure if he knows. He probably hasn't noticed, as he has lost some castles and such, which give a huge bonus into that, and that could be... So far it's not a problem, because he's below the population limit, but pretty soon, as it's looking, they are mounting a pretty good attack. It could be missing for them, but well, GG is coming up already, and CZs have been able to battle through this, even though it looked all kinds of fishy for them in, well, not only one time. Pretty much, I don't know, 2-3 times it almost looked like that are actually going to lose. But well, they came through. They came through all the efforts.
This was actually a very, very good game. Remember the start? CZ going feudal aggression, Jedi's going for castle aggression, and CZ doing the right thing, walling off, and then both fighting in Imperial, and yeah, really, really enjoyable game here.
Nicely played in the end. But it has to be said by both teams, most definitely. Because I don't really think that the Jedi did anything all that wrong. They just weren't fast enough to kill their opponents. And then when the Mongol got into all the upgrades and such, it was just a bit too strong even for the Paladins.
Yeah, I think they could have abused the fact that both CZ players were involved a little bit more. Because if you want to go for a Castle Age win and aggression, then you have to run into the enemy's base, right? Oh.
Yeah, exactly. The wall-in wasn't really perfect. Well, it wasn't perfect, it was really bad, let's say that, for CZs. They just didn't finish with the ball-in at all, as opposed to the Jedi Masters, which helped them quite nicely in the early defense and such. But well, in the end, ended in a GG. So,